2 weeks ago, Indiana beat the Sparks by 30 at home. Last night, they lost to them by 14. If you're just joining, all season the Fever question has been pretty simple. Can Mitchell and Boston create enough, and can the defense stay organized through Clark's absences while they ease her back from this recurring back issue? The 84-68 win in Las Vegas gave Indiana a template without her. The Sparks game was supposed to be the reintegration test, with Mitchell scoring at an elite level and Boston right in the middle of the balance.
This is the Fever Daily. Today, we're starting with Clark's rusty return and a Sparks loss nobody saw coming. Then we'll get to the Phoenix status update, which is already settled. Let's get into it.
Bottom line. Sparks 106, Fever 92. Clark was back, but only for 16 restricted minutes. Boston was out entirely. The load management bill came due pretty fast.
If you want to keep up with Fever Contender Consistency Test, tap follow so the next episode lands in your feed.
Robin Lundberg, writing in Sports Illustrated.
Caitlin Clark returned to action for the Indiana Fever in a 106-92 loss to the Los Angeles Sparks, but she didn't look like the player fans are used to seeing. Clark, who previously shared she would be on a minutes restriction, was never able to get into a rhythm, and neither was her team.
That score really does the talking. 106-92. Indiana beat this same Sparks team by 30 at home 2 weeks ago, and last night they lost to them by 14. Clark was limited to 16 minutes. Boston never played, and against an 8-11 team, that margin is the cost of trying to manage bodies and win anyway.
And SI frames the whole thing as Clark couldn't find rhythm. I mean, she played 3 minutes, got yanked with Indiana up 11-5, and we're surprised she was cold? 4 turnovers under a hard cap point back to how the minutes were handled more than to Clark herself. The Clark-Mitchell-Boston chemistry we were feeling good about after Vegas, you can't build it when 2 of those 3 are managed on the same night. That was the test, and they never really took it.
The SI piece even calls it a flashback to the Portland substitution pattern. Yank her early, up 6, and hope the rhythm survives. It didn't last night. Karen Abkarians, writing in Silver Screen and Roll.
The Sparks ended their 3-game losing streak by beating the Fever 106-92 on Wednesday night. Los Angeles defeated Indiana despite playing without Kelsey Plum and Cameron Brink, who remain out. Ray Burrell and Nneka Ogwumike stepped up big, combining for 46 points.
Same scoreline, same punch to the gut. 106-92. Indiana beat the same Sparks team by 30 at home 2 weeks ago, and last night, LA walked out with its best win of the season.
And the Sparks did it without Kelsey Plum and Cameron Brink. Ray Burrell and Ogwumike dropped 46 combined, and Indiana just watched.
LA shot 66% early, and all 5 starters scored. White said during practice week that when they don't defend, they put too much pressure on the offense. Well, that showed up as 106 points allowed against an 8-11 team.
Clark's on 16 restricted minutes. Boston sits the whole night. The 2 players you most need to fold in are both unavailable. What closing lineup chemistry are we even building here?
Bright spot, if you're digging through the box. Tyasha Harris gave them 7 off the bench, and Mitchell was hot early with 7. The pieces flashed. The floor never held. From Jenna Ortiz at the Arizona Republic.
The Phoenix Mercury are set to welcome the Indiana Fever on July 9th at Mortgage Matchup Center for the highly anticipated renewal of their contentious series. But one of the stars will be out. Fever coach Stephanie White confirmed on July 8th that Caitlin Clark will be out against the Mercury.
So the Phoenix piece is already settled. White confirmed Wednesday that Clark sits Thursday in Phoenix. She was active in LA, and now the flip-flop kicks in. Boston sat the Sparks game and comes back tonight against the Mercury.
And that's the thing nobody's saying cleanly. The 2 pieces you most need to integrate never share the floor in this back-to-back. Clark plays, Boston sits. Boston plays, Clark sits.
White isn't just managing minutes caps here. She's managing the back-to-back by alternating the roster. Per the Arizona Republic, it's deliberate, cautious. Whether that actually helps on the basketball side is a separate conversation.
And it's Phoenix, of all buildings. The Alyssa Thomas game, where Clark tweaked the back June 24th in the first place. Now she watches this one in street clothes. The flip-flop strategy can look clean on a whiteboard, but after Clark's 16 restricted minutes and Boston sitting out the Sparks loss altogether, is Indiana making the lineup chemistry it needs down the stretch even harder to build?
That's the tension, and the Sparks game laid it out pretty bluntly. Indiana lost 106-92, a 14-point loss to a team it beat by 30 at home just 2 weeks ago, per Indy Star. Clark was back from the back injury, but on a hard minutes restriction. 16 minutes, 9 points, and, per SI's takeaways, no real rhythm. Her first stint lasted just over 3 minutes before Stephanie White pulled her early in the first quarter. Boston, meanwhile, was out completely on load management with the Phoenix back-to-back in mind, and the Fever missed her size in the paint all night. White's logic, split the stars across the 2 games so neither plays both, makes medical sense and matches what she told reporters. On the floor, though, Indiana faced LA without 2 of its 3 primary contributors available in any meaningful way. Fansided hit the same concern after the game. This team still has to build cohesive closing lineup habits, and chopped-up minutes in load management games are slowing that down.
And this isn't the first time White's substitution pattern with Clark has backfired. SI mentioned it echoed that earlier blowout to Portland. So is this a coaching adjustment issue as much as it is a load management one?
That's what I'm watching tonight and beyond. Can White find a rotation that actually lets Clark, Boston, and Mitchell get closing reps together when all 3 are healthy, instead of having the chemistry work interrupted by injuries or management calls? Indiana is 12-9, so there's still runway, but flat nights get costly fast when playoff positioning is this tight. With Boston back in Phoenix and Clark out, tonight can either show Mitchell and the rest of the group finding some cohesion without Clark, or it becomes one more chopped-up data point. Here's Jack Maloney at CBS Sports.
The 2026 WNBA season is rolling right along. Tuesday was the midseason cutdown date, which resulted in a major move for the reigning champion Las Vegas Aces, and the full all-star pool was finalized with the announcement of the 12 reserves who will head to Chicago later this month.
CBS Sports has midseason grades out, and Indiana gets tagged as confounding. A very polite way to grade a team that lost by 14 to a squad they beat by 30 at home 2 weeks ago.
Confounding. Come on. When your best player is limited to 16 minutes and another key piece sits the whole night, the box score is going to look weird. That grade feels like it's reacting to the scoreboard more than the situation.
You're not wrong, Joey, but CBS is grading half a season, not one loss, and the Fever have been jagged all year. Up 31 week, down 14 the next. The label fits that part.
Sure, but context matters. For scale, the Aces and Lynx are tied atop the league right now, and there are 3 games separating the top 7. Indiana's swimming in the deepest parity we've seen. Confounding is just what the middle looks like this year.
If you like following the Fever every day, check out Angel City Daily Podcast, a daily ACFC supporter briefing with match reaction, roster moves, NWSL standings, women's soccer in Los Angeles, and supporter buzz. Find it wherever you listen to podcasts. Next up, the Fever visit the Mercury tonight, July 9th at Mortgage Matchup Center, with Caitlin Clark out and Aliyah Boston expected to return in the back-to-back flip. You'll find links to every story we mentioned today in the show notes, so if something stuck with you, that's the place to dig in a little more. That's it for Indiana Fever Daily Podcast today. This is a Lantern podcast,